Israel's tourism consul for the Midwest, based out of Israel's government tourist office in Chicago. He joins us now on Harvest. One of our good friends of the Harvest Show back. You're becoming one of the regular hosts, I think, here on the Harvest Show. Good to see you. We want to talk a little bit today, at least to start with, about Easter, an important Christian holiday coming up. But first, I thought it might be important to kind of establish a basis. Let's talk about the history of Passover, because I think for the majority of our non-Jewish friends watching, maybe they don't know the history of the Passover. So what could you tell us?
Well, Passover is Pesach in Hebrew, or Pascha in Aramaic, is one of the most important, if not the most important holiday in the Jewish calendar. It is a story which is in the book of Numbers, before the Exodus of Egypt, that the Israelites at the time of Moses and Pharaoh had to rush out of Egypt before the Pharaohs will get them. Now, the 10th plague, the most horrible plague of the 10th plague that God put upon the Egyptians, was the kill of the first son.
Yeah.
The word Pesach in Hebrew means step over. So, according to the Bible, the Jews marked their doors after the command of the Lord, and the angel of death actually passed over the houses of the Jews, and therefore they were saved.
Yeah.
So this is a very, very important holiday, because after that event, Pharaoh said, okay, leave my ground.
Yeah.
So this is to commemorate the first actual sovereignty or freedom of the Jews. So this is the real birth of Israel.
Yeah.
So Pesach for us is, first of all, the most important holiday. It's a holiday of spring and holiday of rejuvenation, and, of course, holiday of independence.
So kind of paint us a picture. What is Jerusalem like when you have these two very important holidays for Christians and for Jews? You know, is the city just totally shut down? What do people do to celebrate?
Well, the city not just doesn't shut down.
Sure.
It comes to life to a point that you can barely even put a needle into the street.
So it's just the opposite.
It's complete opposite,
Yeah.
because you have this huge celebration. By the way, even in the Bible, spring was the favorite period of the Bible. In the book of Song of Solomon, it says in Hebrew, "Nisanim niru ba'aretz ve'et hazamir higia," which means the flowers appeared in our land and the time of the turtle dove is being heard upon. So this is the favorite time of the kings also. The city of Jerusalem is so packed. One of the most amazing festivals in Israel at the time, or this time, is what the Greek Orthodox will call upon the Holy Sabbath of Fire, which is a mystical holiday, which has to do a lot with Easter, that a fire comes down from the heaven and lights a torch within the Holy Sepulchre. And the most amazing thing is that every representative of an Eastern Church country,
Yeah.
Serbia, Romania, Russia, Greece, of course,
Yeah.
their representative take this lantern from the Holy Sepulchre with special jets flying to the capitals of those states,
Yeah.
and light the candles in all the churches on those, in those countries.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. It
Yeah.
is amazing.
So, go ahead.
Well, I was just wondering, is Christmas or Easter the most popular holiday for tourists or
Easter.
visitors?
Easter.
Hands down.
Oh, Easter.
Where do you want
Okay.
to go? If a Christian tourist comes to Jerusalem in the Easter holiday, what do they want to go see? Where do they want to go?
Well, Holy Sepulchre, to see the holy fire.
Yeah.
Even if you don't
But
believe,
that's a wild thing, isn't
that
it?
is incredible.
Yeah.
It's a festival of faith. I mean,
Yeah.
you see people. There's a special chamber that they open up on the dome of the Holy Sepulchre, and the beam of light, touches right the head of the sepulchre, and people are going. You see their faces. And again, I'm Jewish, but to see this is like, whoa, you go down on your knees. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But if you are in Israel in Easter, which is, this is the time of the Omer, my name, spring is called the Omer in Hebrew, because you start counting the spring from Passover, and you ended up in Pentecost on Shavuot, which you guys have your tour in June. You're going to be at the end of the spring, so everything
Okay.
will say reply to that.
Yeah.
When you're going to be in Jerusalem, walk around in the Old City, next to the Holy Sepulchre, but everything is lavish green. As it says in the Bible, the flowers in our land.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Anywhere you go out to the nature.
Yeah.
In Easter.
Now, like you said, we do have a tour coming up in June. Is June a good time to visit Israel?
Absolutely. It's before the heat waves of the summer, because our summer is a little bit more brutal than the Midwest.
Very hot.
Yeah, it's
very
right
hot.
there in the desert, I'd imagine. It's just really hot. But what was amazing to me is that you said it does snow, actually, in the desert as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My favorite place in Jerusalem, in Jerusalem, there were many favorite places that I went to, was probably the Garden Tomb. So is there, I mean, can visitors to the Holy Land expect to get into all of the sites during the Easter celebration? Because I know it is packed in your country.
It is packed because Israel is the Holy Land, and
Right.
you know, this is the land of the Bible. This is where the Bible is alive. So many people want to see that throughout history. But the Garden of Gethsemane, Gat Shmanim,
Yes.
is definitely one of the places that you will visit, because it is, you know, many people ask me, you know, is this really the place where Christ wept for the temple? And I tell you, you know what? I don't know if this is the exact spot, but this tree is 2,000 years old, meaning when Christ was here, this tree was here as well.
Yeah.
So this is something that, you know, you can't really pinpoint where he stood and wept, but that tree was witness to what happened in that crucial evening. So yes, of course, the Garden of Gethsemane is definitely one of the places to be. And when you're going to be there in Easter or springtime, even in late June, you'll see everything still lavish, green, and beautiful.
Did I say the Garden of Gethsemane or the Garden Tomb? That's what I'm
They're
sorry.
both important.
They're both
Yeah,
very
they're both-
important.
okay.
They're both very, very
Yeah,
important.
yeah.
Now, I know that you're a tour guide. I'm assuming that you've guided Christian groups. What has that been like for you?
It's mind-blowing for me,
Yeah.
because I'm a true follower of the good book. I love the good book. And for me to speak with the Christian audience, you know, we always say that Israel is the homeland of the Jews, which is true.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also Christianity was formed in Israel. This is where it started.
Yeah.
So when I read, for example, the Apocalypse in John, and I'm studying at Megiddo, at Armageddon, and I see how people connect to the Bible. Or when I talk about my favorite king, Hezekiah, when we're down at the Hezekiah tunnel in Jerusalem, and I quote Hezekiah, and I see the people get reconnected to their faith, Christian and Jewish. This is amazing. For me, as a tour guide, of course now as the Council of Tourism, but as a tour guide, as an Israeli, as someone who believes in the Bible.
And since you mentioned Megiddo, I think it's important to at least touch on, we see so many times, especially right now, we see these reports where, you know, there's a missile here, an explosion there, and always the reporter reporting is in Jerusalem. So people, I think, mistakenly kind of put those two together. How safe is it to visit Israel?
Well, if you take, this is one of my favorite statistics. If you take all of the foreign journalists combined in Israel, between Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, there are more journalists right now in Israel than the entire Middle East put together, and we are talking now in the midst of the Arab Spring.
Yeah.
So one of the main reasons why the journalists are there in Israel, they love to be there. They have to, but in order to justify their being, they have to report something.
Yeah.
So everything that you see, if you see all the riots and mitzvahs and everything, it's not in Israel. It's the West Bank or Gaza.
Yeah.
Which none of the tours go anywhere near Gaza, and in the West Bank, sometimes maybe Bethlehem. But that's it.
Yeah.
So it's not even close. Now, in terms of statistics and safety, last year we had almost 3.5 million people visit Israel. The entire population is 7. So think about it. 3.5 million people voted in their passport, Israel is safe.
Yeah.
And the greatest news, even this morning, I looked over the statistic, we're actually up in tourism.
Yeah.
In the middle of the biggest recession ever since the 20s, the midst of the Arab Spring, missiles flying over, but tourism is going up.
Now, let me ask you, let's be honest, Israel is a very small place.
Yeah.
How do you handle all these guests? 3.5 million people, where do you put them all?
Well, Moses had to bring, you know, all the Israelites into one path, so
It works.
It works. It works. You know, Ben Gurion used to say that Israel is the only country in the world, if you do not believe in miracles, you're not realistic.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, one final quick question for me. When I was there, I was in the city of David and saw all the excavation going on there. What can our tourists or our visitors or pilgrims to Israel expect to see that's new, a new discovery? Because I'm always watching the news and I see something else has been, you know, excavated or discovered in Israel. What's something new?
There's one thing that was discovered this August.
Okay.
This August of 2011. they found the Siloam pool, the real Siloam pool
Okay.
that Jesus actually used to baptize himself and clean himself, not just Jesus, any pilgrim in Easter used to clean himself before going out to the temple.
Wow.
They found the pool and the actual street that was buried under debris of the temple from the year 70 AD. Today, you can walk in the same street and you can touch the foundation of the temple.
Wow.
Wow.
And one of the most amazing things that I think that they found also in those excavations, they found a golden bell that was strapped to the gown of the high priest.
Yeah.
Which is, it's mentioned in the Bible, in the book of Deuteronomy, how to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
They found that bell.
Wow.
It's in the Israel Museum.
Well, Omer, always good to see you, a great friend of the Harvest Show. And if you'd like to connect with Omer and find out more information about how you can go to Israel, you can find it at our website, harvest-tv.com, and click on Show Info in the menu bar for an easy link back to their website. We'll be back in just a moment with Brian Bush. Don't go anywhere.